I started it so that the delay. You see where it says send live?
Oh, so you mute?
No.
Okay.
Good afternoon. This is Request for Proposals 82 FY23. And for secondary mathematics select courses and for RFP 40 FY23 for mathematics courses beyond Algebra 2. I am Danielle Godfrey, and I am the Assistant Director of Procurement for Arlington Public Schools. Also representing APS during the conference is Carl Seward, the Supervisor for Secondary Mathematics. During the conference, 2 RFPs will be reviewed. However, because they are very similar, only RFP 82 FY23 will be displayed during the conference. If there are any differences between the two that are considered important, they will be discussed. Questions are welcome and will need to be submitted in writing through the Q&A capability. Questions will be addressed at the end of the conference. It needs to be emphasized that even though this conference is provided to help offerors gain a better understanding of the 2 requirements, it remains the offeror's responsibility to be aware of the contents, the differences of the RFPs, the 2 RFPs. As a reminder, APS has issued 2 separate RFPs, and offerors can submit a proposal in response to one or both RFPs. If an offeror intends to respond to both RFPs, a separate proposal must be submitted in response to each RFP. Proposal due dates and times are for RFP 40 FY23 for mathematics courses beyond Algebra 2. The date is Friday, January 20th, 2023. For RFP 82 FY23, secondary mathematics select courses, the due date is Tuesday, January 24th, 2023. Field proposals shall not be received in response to the RFP at the SciFex Education Center by mail, express mail, in person, or by courier, but will do so instead electronically through a secure cloud-based file sharing platform. Firms wishing to submit a proposal in response to the RFPs are required to upload the information requested in tabs 1 through 5 of Section 3, Proposal Requirements, into the platform through the link found on the current solicitations webpage under the Procurement Office website. A link to the web page is provided below. To assist offerors with its proposal submission, screenshots of the steps required to submit a proposal are attached as Appendix L to this RFP. For a proposal to be considered for award of a contract, the proposal must be received in the platform by no later than 11:59 p.m. on Friday, January 24th, 2023. Offerors are strongly encouraged to submit their proposal in advance of the proposal due date. Proposals received after the due date shall not be considered. Confirmation is not provided that a proposal has been received in the platform. However, offerors can contact myself at the email address in the RFP or by phone to request confirmation that its proposal has been received. This pre-proposal conference is held for RFP 40 FY23 Mathematics Courses Beyond Algebra and for RFP 82 FY23 Secondary Mathematics Select Courses. All questions regarding this RFP, other than those submitted at the conference, must be submitted in writing via email to myself or Carl Seward, APS Project Manager. These must be received by 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on January 11th, 2023. The Procurement Office will issue written responses to questions received as an information item in the same manner as an addenda. Addendas will be posted on the APS Procurement Office website under current solicitations and on a public bulletin board in Syfax. Offerers shall ascertain prior to submitting a proposal that all addenda issued have been received and shall acknowledge receipt and inclusions of all addenda by marking here or by including a signed copy of all addenda with the proposal. And it will look like this: addenda number and the date submitted. Trade secrets and proprietary information are here, and you must review this information and check the appropriate box, or the appropriate box. State Corporation Commission's identification number. This is a mandatory requirement. Please review this area and check the appropriate box. For debarment, please review this section and check the appropriate box. And for type of business, please review and check the appropriate box. Again, we are establishing a contract for secondary mathematics select courses and one of two secondary math requirements being solicited simultaneously. The other requirement being solicited is for mathematics courses beyond Algebra 2 under RFP 40 FY23. For each secondary math requirement on which a contract is awarded, that secondary math requirement will have a separate contract. Offerers may submit a separate proposal on one or both of the secondary math requirements, and the proposal for each secondary math requirement will be considered independently. This information must be filled out. You will put who the proposal is being submitted by here and include pages 1 through 5 of this RFP as the first 5 pages of the proposal response under tab 1. Special provisions are here. Please review this information. General information. APS is soliciting proposals from qualified offerers to establish a possible 3-year term contract with a minimum of 1 qualified offerer, which is the contractor, for secondary mathematics select courses. The digital and print resources must be received by May 31, 2023, and the professional learning and coaching must be delivered throughout July and August of 2023. The scope of work. The purpose of this RFP is to solicit proposals to establish a possible 3-year contract with a minimum of 1 qualified offerer for secondary mathematics select courses. Functional requirements are in Appendix G and are the specifics of what the district is looking for to satisfy the curricular needs for secondary mathematics select courses. Additionally, all resources must be compatible with our current technological infrastructure. All mandatory requirements will need examples from offerers in the proposal. The offerer will designate the functional requirements that they provide in the proposal. A detailed table for each section is included in Appendix G. Tasks to be performed. Offerers shall remain in compliance with required functional criteria described in Part 2 of Appendix G, technical requirements, at the time of the contract award and throughout the duration of the contract term. At the time of the contract award, the contractor shall provide APS with online accounts allowing for designated APS employees to access the contracted resources for review and planning purposes. Proposal instructions. The offerer must submit the following information in the technical proposal in tab 2. Statement of qualifications, which include organizational and staff experience, references, personnel, resumes of staff and proposed consultants, escalation personnel, and financial statements. Consultation services. The offer is to confirm that if awarded the contract, its staff shall be available for consultation with APS staff on an as-needed basis between 8 a.m. and 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Monday through Friday. Cost proposal instructions. The offerer must submit a cost proposal in tab 3. The cost proposal should contain Appendix F pricing schedule, which identifies the contract price for each line item listed. Again, APS requests the offerer provides a 3-year subscription length in its cost proposal. Any other costs that may arise during the contract term should also be identified in the cost proposal. If a line item may be offered gratis, indicate that in the gratis column and provide details elsewhere describing terms of the discount. Samples. Samples will be received during the evaluation process. Offerers who are selected to attend the shortlist interviews will be asked to submit samples at no cost to APS. Date resources are to be made available. The resources, print and digital, must be received by May 31, 2023, and the initial professional learning and coaching must be delivered throughout July and August 2023. Information requests. All questions related to this RFP shall be submitted in writing to myself and to the project manager, Carl Seward. There is a tentative schedule for the RFP and the award date and the intention of beginning the contract. Questions may not be considered if they are not received after January 10, 2023 by 4 p.m. Any questions related to the answers provided in Addendum 1 may be addressed in additional addendum. Proposal requirements. These are general requirements. Mandatory provisions of this RFP are indicated by the inclusion of the words shall or must to identify the offerer's obligations. Failure to comply with these requirements or with any other requirement stated as mandatory, either in this RFP or in the instruction to offerers, shall result in rejection of the offerer's proposal as not responsive, except to the extent the failure or omission either is not mandatory, is not a mandatory statutory requirement, or does not affect price, quantity, quality, or time. APS proposed contract documents and this RFP contain terms and conditions APS favors and intends to use for the resultant contract. If an offerer wishes APS to consider any changes to these documents, such changes must be submitted in writing in the proposal, and such exceptions shall be considered during negotiation. Offerers shall submit under tab 4 of the proposal any data or materials considered to be a trade secret or proprietary information or falls within the exceptions to the VFOIA, and shall state the reason why protection is necessary. Offerers may not declare the entire proposal proprietary, nor may they declare proposed pricing to be proprietary. Offerers should organize their proposals using the following tabular format: tab 1 for administrative, tab 2, the technical proposal, tab 3 should be the cost proposal, and tab 4 should be trade secrets or proprietary information. Tab 5 are exceptions taken to any provision of the contract document. Offerers are to provide only specific exceptions of proposed revisions to any provision of the contract documents to be added or removed in accordance with Section 5A, VA. Requests to enter into future discussions to seek clarification of any provision of the contract documents will not be considered. Proposal evaluation process, the method of contract award, and proposal evaluation criteria are in this section. The proposal evaluation process and method of contract award will be a select advisory committee. The SAC team will review and evaluate all responsive proposals received by the procurement office. The proposal evaluation criteria is in 3 stages: the initial evaluation stage, the shortlist interview stage, and the negotiation stage. Here is the initial evaluations criteria, the shortlist interviews evaluation criteria, and the negotiation stage evaluation criteria. Contract terms and conditions are here. Please review this information. Insurance requirements. During the term of this contract, the contractor and all of their subcontractors shall procure and maintain the types of insurance that are referenced in Section D below. Appendix A is the contractor certification regarding criminal convictions. This should be reviewed and completed and submitted. Appendix B, conflict of interest statement. Please review, complete, and make sure that there's a notary registration number here. Appendix C, the non-disclosure and data security agreement, should be completed in its entirety and submitted. We've included an insurance checklist, which is Appendix D. This needs to be filled out by the insurance agent, and this would be filled out by the offerer. This is the sample form agreement. This is what the contract would look like. Here is the pricing schedule. I've highlighted that the length of subscription in years included with the purchase shall be included here. Here is the pricing schedule for professional learning and coaching. The first line is for the professional learning and coaching that's included with the subscription. Here is pricing schedule for additional resources. At this time, I will turn it over to Carl Seward, the APS project manager, to go over the functional requirements.
Great. Thank you so much, Danielle, and good afternoon, everyone. Again, I'm Carl Seward, and I'm serving as project manager on this RFP. When we consider the functional requirements, the resource submitted shall support vertical alignment for secondary mathematics. The offerer must provide at least one example to show how the proposed resource meets or exceeds the mandatory or desired requirements. The offer should include snapshots, excerpts, or images from the resource to illustrate or to explain each example rather than simply referring to certain pages in a teacher edition. You will note that the Virginia Department of Education VDOE Mathematics Standards of Learnings, we have included in this document 3 links. And in late December, the Virginia Department of Education remade their webpage, and now we have to relink those relink those links, and Danielle will share how we will do that and share that information with you shortly. When we are considering our functional requirements, we have in both RFPs mathematics resources, assessments, summative and formative, and professional learning and coaching functional requirements. While in the RFP 82 FY23, that also includes the intervention instructional materials functional requirements. And in thinking about the functional requirements as related to mathematics resources, to be sure, alignment with the 2016 Virginia Standards of Learning is definitely something that we're looking for. Students here in the Commonwealth of Virginia, when they take their end of course tests, utilize the Desmos calculator. So to the extent that a Desmos calculator can be embedded, that is something that we desire. And certainly to the degree that materials can be translated into multiple languages, Spanish being primary, but not the only language, we would certainly appreciate that as well. When we take a look at the professional learning and coaching, it's extremely important to us that professional learning is available in both virtual and in-person options for teachers so that we can successfully implement the product, and that the offer provide training in the month of June and the month and August, as well as throughout the school year 23-24, 24-25, and 25-26, and the summers for those appropriate times. And to be sure, the ability to provide ongoing professional learning throughout the school year and the life of the contract will help us ensure fidelity to the implementation of the resource. When we take a look at the RFP 82 FY23, which is displayed, I want to highlight that RFP includes intervention instructional materials. There are 4 things that I want to elevate for your focused consideration. Number 1, that the resources have intervention materials for 1 or more algebra strands, and we've elevated what those strands are: expressions and operations, equations and inequalities and functions. That there are a variety of assessments that's provided in the resource: a diagnostic assessment, a formative, and a summative, in addition to what could be considered informal assessments or informal differentiated instruction methods for progress monitoring so that we can track student growth. Certainly for students that are using the intervention model, it is an expectation that it is research-based. So making sure that it's research-based and being able to share that will be important to us. And certainly these resources can be used not only for Tier 1 instruction, or that is to say instruction that's in the classroom that's first delivered, but also for Tier 2 and Tier 3 instruction as students may need more scaffolded support, Tier 2 and Tier 3 instruction. And that is the functional requirements portion of this document. Danielle, I want to turn it back over to you.
Thank you, Carl. This area here is the techno requirements. Please familiar yourself with the techno requirements of this contract, of this RFP. Appendix H is here. This is the student data usage and privacy agreement. This will need to be filled out and submitted. Appendix I, the publisher's certification and agreement. This will need to be reviewed, and you would submit the information, put the information here and submit it. The publisher certification is here, and the publisher's agreement here. This will be filled out and submitted. Appendix J, the authors / editors and content review expert information goes here. And the content review expert information, this will be filled out and submitted. This is a sample purchase order. This is what our purchase orders look like. And then here are screenshots of the steps required to submit your proposal, Appendix L. This shows you the process of submitting your proposal. And that is it. I'm going to go to see if we have any questions. I don't have any questions here, but we did have some questions that were submitted before this meeting that I wanted to address. We are not a publisher. Will you accept a response from an offerer that is not a publisher? Carl, do you want to respond to that?
Thanks, Danielle. We will accept an offer from a person that is not a publisher. I would like to remind everyone that's listening to this presentation that we have 2 RFPs. And so for the RFP 82 FY23, we understand, APS understands that for the materials that we're asking for, they may not be affixed to a publishing house. And so in so doing, for the 82 FY23 RFP, we would accept proposals from persons that were not associated with publishing houses.
Thank you. I got a question in the chat. How many students will be supported for each RFP? We are going to submit a response to that via addendum, because it's based on the courses, not the student population. So it's not a total of the RFP 40 FY23 student body count or RFP 82 FY23 student body count. We have in the RFPs the estimated number of students, but we're going to review that and submit a response via addendum. I have a question. Will the initial contract be for 3 years or 1 year with 2 renewals? The initial contract term is for 3 years. It's a 3-year contract. Should we provide pricing for each contract year or for 3 years? The initial contract term is for 3 years, and the pricing submitted should be for that initial contract term of 3 years. I have another question. Will purchases be made at the district or school level? This resource adoption will be made at the district level based on the secondary math department and this RFP. So it will be made at the district level. Any other questions that are submitted will be answered via an addendum and will be posted and on the district website under the current solicitations. I don't see any more questions here. Okay. I'm going to wait another minute to see if there's any more. I just want to go back to what Carl was saying about the links, the VDOE links. Under the functional requirements, those will be also the addendum. They will be posted, the updated links. All right, thank you, everyone. That concludes the pre-proposal conference for RFP 40 FY23 and RFP 82 FY23 for secondary math resources.